Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Unemployment with Grace. Today, to cure my boredom, we are going to be making macarons. French macarons, not coconut macaroons. So these ones are going to be little circle sandwich cookies. And they are really simple. They've got 4 ingredients. It's powdered sugar, granulated sugar, almond flour, and egg whites. But they are a bit temperamental, and there are a couple steps that I'm going to show y'all, and then hopefully we'll have some good-looking cookies at the end. I've done this once before. It was relatively successful, so I'm hoping to be even more successful this time. In terms of setup for this recipe, we are looking at having some parchment paper down on a regular cookie sheet, and we're going to want to draw out circles. Usually just trace a shot glass and you draw out circles with a pencil on here. I'll just do that off camera because it's going to take a little while. And then you want to go over here and you want to set your oven to 350, which is what it's already at. Makes it very easy. Get that preheated, and then you either want a pair of electric whiskers, or you want a KitchenAid, which my mother's best friend so kindly bestowed upon me. So that is what I have, and this is going to whip up the egg whites for us. And then we're also going to need a piping bag. I'm going to go make it, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we have our piping bag assembled. Pay no mind to the music in the background. That's just the live-action 101 Dalmatians. Say hi, Becca! Basically, this is just a little, piping tip right here, and then it's just taped around a hole in the corner of the bag, and we just take the cookie dough or batter, and we put it in here, and then we pipe it out onto these little circles. I have flipped the parchment paper over because we don't want to get any of the graphite from the pencils onto the cookies, but you can still see through it. And I have it taped on the edges right here. So now that we have the kitchen all set up, let's go ahead and start putting our ingredients together. We're going to start with dry ingredients first. The first thing we do before we grab our ingredients, especially right now, is we wash our hands. Here, let's see if we can get my hands in the shot. Here we go. I'm going to do this for 20 seconds, which is 2 choruses of Good as Hell, but I've probably used up 1, so we'll just do 1 chorus. I'll do my head toss, check my nails. Baby, how we feeling? Feeling good as hell. Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how we feeling? Feeling good as hell. Alright, we should be good. The first thing you want to do is the dry ingredients, starting with the almond flour. I'm using the Krusteaz brand because it was the only thing at Fred Meyer. And I'm doubling this recipe. It calls for 2/3 of a cup, so I'm going to do a cup and then a third. But we'll just do the cup for right now. You want to pour it into this strainer right here. And you want to make sure you're leaving out big chunks. So just let it fall, and then I have been told that even if you think you can break down the bigger chunks, to actually just toss them and try to break them down later. And then just put some more in. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add just a little bit more almond meal. Ooh, well, that's not what we wanted. We'll do that, and we're going to add a little bit more. I'm a total mess in the kitchen, and I've already gotten powdered sugar everywhere, but that's the next thing that you add. You use the same sieve, basically, and you break down the powdered sugar. And this recipe calls for 1 cup, so we're going to put 2 in, but we'll only do video for 1. And I'll just do the rest on my own. You want to go over to your whisk. And you're going to want to pour 1/2 cup of granulated sugar into the bowl, just like so. Toss that in the sink. Pop this back up here, and we'll go for the eggs next. So for the eggs, you want to crack it. And then you want to try as best you can to create 2 halves from the shell. And you just pass the yolk back and forth until you've gotten most of the egg white out. And it looks like this one, we've successfully gotten the egg white out. Alright, so we're mixing the eggs and the sugar right now, and you want it on the highest setting. Usually it's for about a minute or so, but you basically want it to turn into a meringue. You want thick, stiff peaks of foam. Alright, so as we lift this up, we're gonna see stiff, glossy peaks. Yep, see that right there? That's exactly what we're looking for. And so now we're gonna add in the dry ingredients. Alright, now we're gonna add the dry ingredients to this meringue right here. Add it all at once, or rather all in one sitting. You don't stir in between adding it. And then we're gonna mix it in by hand with the meringue. We're gonna do about 40 strokes till it flows like lava. Alright, sorry y'all for skipping out on the mixing process, but there's literally no possible way for me to film it. But we are going to start piping in the cookies. This is what the mix should look like. It should look liquidy and starting to drip a little bit, just like that. Filming and piping at the same time is going to be an interesting adventure, so this first one might not turn out super well. But, oh, are you going to take the camera for me?
I gotcha.
Oh, thank you. We only need to do one. So basically, you just want to take your piping bag and squeeze. It doesn't really, like, you don't have to do it in a perfect circle because you can always sort of fudge the lines later. Oh man, there's so much batter in here, it's hard to get a grip on it. Okay, here we go. And then you basically want to sort of smooth as you go. And then leave that little tip right up there. Perfect. Alright, now that we got these cookies all set to go, I'm going to tap them a little bit just to get some air bubbles out. They should look like this. Mine aren't perfect circles, but you know what? They'll still taste good. And now we're going to pop them in the oven, and I'm going to double check how much time we need to put them in for. And we're going to pop these in for 12 minutes. Set the timer to 12, and we'll start that, and we'll be back when they're out. Y'all, we're gonna take these out just before the thing starts beeping because holy cow, look how pretty these are! Oh, they turned out better than I expected. And there we go. So that's 12 minutes. We're gonna give them just a couple seconds to cool, then we'll put them on our drying rack over there. All right, now that we have successfully gotten these cookies out of the oven and dried, we're going to use a makeshift stand to show the piping. This is just a basic bag. I'm super lazy with the piping. This filling I made a little while ago from my previous batch. And oh no! Fortunately, this is the part that does not need to look nearly as good, because we're just going to squish it down. Anyway, so here, we'll do that. And then we're going to pop this guy on top. And here we have a nicely formed macaron. And it's got such a nice shiny top. That's beautiful. All right, folks. These are the rest of the cookies. I'm going to fill these in later, but that is how you make macarons. Thank y'all so much for going on this journey with me, making French macarons. I will be posting more videos. I'm going to put my Venmo account in the doobly-doo just because this is Unemployment with Grace. And if you have the means and you really enjoy this content, toss like $2 or $3 my way. But obviously no obligation. I'm mostly doing this just to keep myself busy during this time. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try it at home. They're super fun to make, and you definitely should do them. They're not that hard. See you on the next episode.